Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Urban Libertarian here, back again. And the media are just disgusting. And in this video, I wanted to continue my series on uh, media research. And the last video, I left off on how they use emotion. And they're using this child crisis to deflect what's going on with the Inspector General's report and the hearings today, Tuesday, the 18th, and yesterday in the Senate and in the House on the Hillary Clinton email investigations. And I could feel it, I could see it, and I was really pissed off when I watched the nightly news last night, and only ABC News talked about the hearings, and it was like their second or third story, and that was it, and it was very short, and it was shitty coverage. So now we have newsbusters to thank, and they've plotted out and they've done real scientific research, or social research, and they've shown a pattern here, and you can see how what they're doing here. So let's check this out. I'm going to just read this. So outraged anchors and correspondents at ABC, CBS, and NBC attacked the Trump administration for separating children from parents at the border as they overwhelmed their Monday morning and evening news programs with a massive 94 minutes, my God, of coverage on the detainment policy. Overall, in just 6 days, right? Coverage from June 13th from 18th that Nets have flooded their broadcasts with almost 3 hours, 176 minutes of emotional, highlight that, segments that include pictures of crying children and accompanying anger from correspondents and pundits alike. Yeah, they do the reporting and they're yelling at Sarah Sanders. They have these scowly faces. You could see last night, every reporter ended. It was funny. I went through Channel 2 or CBS. They made a scowly face at the end of the report about this. And then ABC made a scowly face. And there was the leaning tower of pizza, David Muir, with his important news up next, with his leaning head, with his scowl. But what happened on June 14th? Well, that was Trump's birthday. What else happened on June 14th, right? That was the Inspector General's, the release of the report on last Thursday. And if you looked, let me look at that. They're already kind of ramping it up, and this problem's been around for a while. And then it's there over the weekend. Look at all this coverage. They're just cranking it out. It came out of nowhere, right? And then boom, June 18th, which is yesterday, that was the first day of the Inspector General's report, or as a testimony to the Senate. And then today, Tuesday, is his very explosive testimony to the House. And so they're just ramping this up, right? So anyway, and while the policy has been criticized by both Democrats and Republicans, including President Trump himself, the networks have either completely dismissed or ignored the similar policies in place during the Barack Obama years. And it talks about New York Times, or a little article. And then Barbara Bush was criticizing Trump when her husband's the person that signed some of these laws into signed the bills to make them laws. It's just ridiculous. And then they're just talking about how they're just super hyper emotional. Okay. So now I want to go to show how the past, if you weren't alive back then in 1990, allegedly this girl, Naria Al-Sabah, during her testimony, she said that she was a nurse in Kuwait, and that she testified to that Iraqi soldiers came in and basically pulled the babies out of incubators and killed them. And it was complete horse crap. She was the daughter of a she was the daughter of a diplomat from Kuwait. And I mean, if you don't believe me, here's Wikipedia. Everybody believes Wikipedia, but it's true. All right. Anyway, it was really interesting. This girl, they hooked up with a New York public publicity PR firm, and they just totally made up a script. And this is from CBS. They actually talked about this, 60 Minutes. But I like this quote here. Listen to this.
It's been said many times, in war, the first casualty is truth. Does it apply to the Gulf War? The fact of Saddam Hussein's aggression is beyond dispute. But what about the campaign to commit American troops to liberate Kuwait? To get Americans, perhaps any people, to support a war in a place millions barely heard of, certain buttons must be pressed. In the run-up to the Gulf...
I mean, there you go right there. To get Americans to send soldiers to die somewhere, certain buttons must be pressed, right? And that's what they do. They use children and sad stories and emotion to push the buttons to make you do something that you wouldn't otherwise do. So this was a total lie, and people got killed. I mean, this is really sad. Think about these soldiers coming back with no legs, and just the trauma and that whole Gulf War disease. I mean, it's disgusting. And what's really disgusting is how the propaganda, the media, the Ministry of Truth, the Ministry of Truth, you got to read 1984 if you haven't read it, how they just, it's disgusting how they work. And now we can see their patterns of how they're distracting from the IG report. And it's a bombshell report. And here we go. Look at this article. This is a great article from Newsbusters. I'll just click it. It wasn't part of what I was going to do, but the press has been ignoring that Obama lied about email's private server that he knew. He had to have known because the Inspector General's report showed that he knew that. Look at this, that he had a pseudonym. FBI's prosecutor told us that former President Barack Obama was one of the 13 individuals with whom Clinton had direct contact with on ClintonMail.com. So he knew at least she had a private email account, at least, and he was like, I didn't know anything. So it's just complete crap. You got to watch out. The media is just, it's gotten worse. And the interesting thing is, and I pointed this out before, like back in the Bush era and the Reagan era, the media was kind of they were all for the Gulf War. They were all for it. And I could tell it was complete horse crap. And I mean, I was a young kid back then, and that's just, it's pretty ridiculous that I could even tell it was complete horse crap. And NPR, all the liberal outlets were totally supporting the war. They were all behind it. It was pretty ridiculous. And it was complete bullcrap. So moving on to so Trump said, hey, look, we don't want to have America turn into a refugee camp, right? And what's going on is not good in Europe. Look at this. Nearly 1,000 people were injured or killed in terrorist attacks involving refugees over a 4-year span, with Germany facing the highest number of plots, according to the New Heritage Foundation report. I mean, that's just really bad. So, and then InfoWars has this story. Yeah, got it. This German migrant, this guy goes in there and he's bragged about all the free stuff he got. And he raped and choked this poor girl. It's pretty ridiculous. Let's read what they said. They were all doing well in Germany. Well, okay, where is it? I read it. I can't find it. Anyway, the point is, you got to be careful with the media. You're being lied to. Well, you're not being lied to. I mean, you are being lied to. Sometimes you are being lied to, like in this case, but the main point of this video is that this is a big distraction. These kids in the cages, allegedly, all this crap, it's a distraction. And I'm not really talking about the story, it's the situation. I'm talking about how they're using the story, which has been around when this guy was president and nobody said anything. It's the timing of the whole issue. And that's what you really got to question. Do they even really care? So it's like fake outrage. Oh, what about the children? Why weren't you screaming at Obama back when he was doing the same thing? There you go. Thanks for watching.